something away so you can get this candy.
I wouldn't even say it's my favorite, but it did make me feel like the baddest bitch. I always wanted the cigarette candies. They was just pure sugar.
Oh, yeah.
But looked like you were smoking a cigarette. They were my favorite, and I would go ape shit for them.
We always got those from Mr. Campbell, my grandpa's neighbor, like across the street and down the block. And like any time of year, but definitely, I'm pretty sure he gave it to us, especially on Halloween. I loved those.
Yeah.
And they better have the little red dot on the end. Otherwise, like, is it even a cigarette?
Yeah. Am I even disappointing my parents? I was just trying to set them up. I'd be like, get a good look.
Actually, speaking of my grandparents, specifically on my mom's side, are a big part of my childhood Halloween memories. Because we would all... Oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't talk about this.
Oh, no. Why is it fucked?
It hasn't aged well.
Oh.
And I forget that, like, it's not something that everybody had. And there was a thing that happened on Halloween called Burn the Witch. Mm. And they had, like, basically what's a huge scarecrow. And they would, like, parade it. Oh, God. Oh. They would parade it, like, down to the train tracks.
Oh.
And then burn it.
Oh, my God.
And it was, like, the whole way, like, people would join in as, like, they were walking down. And everybody was chanting, Burn the Witch.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was a thing. But the happy memory from it, other than
besides actually, essentially joining a cult, and committing what would definitely be murder back in the day.
Me and my cousins thought we were so cool though because our grandpa was a chef. What? Not a chef. Completely starts a different story.
But I love chef.
A sheriff's deputy. So he knew the cops, and when they were like obviously part of the thing too, and we got to talk into the speaker and chant into the speaker. But what I was gonna say, the happy memory of that and the not problematic part was that we would trick or treat back from there. We would trick or treat back to my
after
grandma.
You burn the witch.
Yeah. Back to my grandma and grandpa's house.
I'm like, this is a nice story.
God, it's those things you learn as you grow up that
you
you're
really
like,
do.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I was a kid. But how was your Halloween spent? You didn't burn the witch?
I wasn't burning anybody. I feel like I wasn't doing it right now. Jeez. No. You asked me earlier what my first memory was, and the one that I did say is one of them, but you're gonna go, aw, I already know you. But the ladies across the street from me, I remember it now, they used to always do it big for Halloween, and they just always had the coolest decorations. Like, it was so fucking spooky. And like, as the month went on, you just saw them add more and more and more to their yard. No, Brie, it was like, it's probably where my love of like haunted houses started too.
Yeah.
Because it was basically like that a little bit. And so I would just get to watch their progression as the month went. And then like at night it was lit up. Like, it was so cool. And one year my brother and I ran across the street just because we were like, can we help you set up? And so we did. Ooh. And it was just so cool. Like, I remember.
Oh, you're right.
Do I know her or do I know her, everybody? She loves
that was so genuine.
She literally loves my wholesome stories.
I was going to say, I feel like every neighborhood has that one house that goes all out, but I've never heard of somebody like adding more through the month. That's cool.
So you'd see the lights, and that's how my brother and I knew, and we would know to like check on the progress every single day.
That's fun.
Because we would like, our window was just set up straight looking into their yard. It was the coolest thing in the world. Brie, it was just
the best seats in the house.
I really did, and it was so cool. And I would just like talk to her, and she would just talk to me like a little adult. She'd be like, "You seen Bates Motel?" And I'm like, "Bitch." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No," but I've seen Scream.
I want to watch that, but not right now.
And I've seen Halloween. Just not right now.
Just not right now.
Everybody. It's not trademarked yet. But Brie and I, to transition from that very beautiful moment, and then we'll get right back on track. But everybody does need to hear this because I think it's a very fun game. Well, it's really one of two games, let me tell you, because I feel like we got to start with one to get to the other.
Yeah.
It starts with, at a certain part in the night, when I no longer know what to put on, nor does Bri, I'll start scrolling through all of the apps on our Roku, and I'll just start announcing, not asked for, let me tell you, nobody asked. I'll just start giving my reviews on various scary movies that I've seen to Bri. And I truly don't know if, like, at first it was just her being a good sport and she eventually got into it, but now she, like, I feel like you kind of like it.
I've always liked it.
Okay, cool. I'll be like, I don't really like that. I'm like, the ending was pretty subpar. I'm like, this you should watch. I'm like, you could skip. And she's just like, taking notes.
I should be taking notes. I don't know why I haven't this whole time. It's
hilarious. But you have to segue into our other game is as we're watching, I'm like, yeah, you definitely need to watch this. I'm like, but we're not going to watch it right now.
Yeah, it's always, oh, we need to watch that.
Not right now.
And it started on a night where I think we were like in the mood for a movie. And you kind of said it and you were like, oh, we need to watch this. And I know in my head, I was like, oh, I don't know that I want to watch it right now. And then I could even feel it in you saying it where you were like, but not right now.
Yeah, because I was like,
and we were both like,
I was like, I don't want to commit to that right now. I don't.
And then it was just as we were going through, there was a lot of great movies on whatever app we were on at the time. And we were like, we need to watch that one too. But not right now.
It's just not the time. But God damn it. One day.
Yeah, we have a really long list of we need to watch it, but not right now.
One fucking day. Just not right now.
Yeah. What's your not right now?
You got to let us know.
But not right now.
Yeah, not right now, though, because we're trying to do a podcast. Our spooky podcast, too.
Yeah,
obviously,
welcome.
Did you guys not get the hint from our intro? I mean, Bri's burning witches. I'm
against my own kind. I really can't believe that
yeah,
I used to do that.
You're fucking wild. I'm over here just setting up decorations with the nice old lady across the street.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
But welcome to our sleepover.
Hello. Happy spooky season.
Love your pajamas.
So fucking happy.
Hope you brought a pillow. Hope you brought some snacks.
Hope you're not afraid of the dark.
Ooh.
Or scary stories.
Yeah.
Or my scary stories. I'm afraid of my scary stories. Because I actually could I feel like my scary stories that I have in my life, I actually could have potentially died.
Yeah.
I say as I laugh.
I think mine too. I definitely both times avoided something not good.
And you guys, is it ever a Bri and Abby intro if we're not being morbid? Talking.
If you've listened to a single one of our episodes and not contemplated your morbidity, I don't know that you've really listened.
I don't know. If you're reading the room right.
Are you skipping? Are you skipping around the episode?
You know you're not going to get the full effect that way. You're not. It's just not how we had it set up or planned.
Yeah.
Mm. Don't do that.
But we are so excited. I was so excited once we decided we were doing a sleepover.
Oh my God, I know.
I miss sleepovers.
Well, I don't have the best track record with them, and I'm hoping to change that tonight with the roomies. And I know you guys won't let me down.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Yeah, I know you guys won't let me down with the sleepover and following us on all social media. Yeah. I know you won't let me down in that way.
I think that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. We need to keep count of everyone who's here, so follow us.
So I know that I should have like X, Y, and Z followers.
That's the list to get into this exclusive party.
You must follow us on all 2 social media platforms. And that is Instagram, Facebook, but you can follow us on Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, all of Apple Music, right? Apple Podcasts.
We are Rent-Free Roommates everywhere, and you guys can also join in on the stories and on our regular episodes if you ever need any advice or want to celebrate something or want to share literally anything with us. We want to hear it because we're here for you guys, and you can do that by emailing us at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. That's RENTFREEROOMMATES
It's
That's
so good.
fun.
You do it so well.
Thank you so much. You should try it one of these days.
You know what? Maybe. Stay tuned, roommates. Maybe I will.
Lots of big things for October.
You gotta share this in order for me to do it on one of the episodes. So
yeah.
if you want me to spell,
We'll do it spelling bee style.
yeah. If you can you use it in a sentence, Bri? Rent-free roommates.
You should follow Rent Free Roommates
Oh,
on all their social media, both places. Instagram and Facebook.
great. I think I could spell that. I think I could,
think
but
you got
like
it.
I said, I don't know. Without a share, how could I really,
Yeah, she needs that support.
I do. I have stage fright. Please.
Share if you believe. We are so excited to get into it. We are excited for this little sleepover. We're going to have so many stories, and we're going to get spooky. And we are really hoping that you guys enjoy this one and have just as much fun as we do. So sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and
Turn the lights off.
yeah, we're going to talk about some spooky stuff and why we love spooky stuff. I think that's where a lot of my creativity comes from too, now that I think about it, because my mom made all of our costumes growing up. I think I was in kindergarten when I was a frog, and it's like one of my favorite pictures of me as a kid.
Oh, that's a good costume.
She knocked
That's
it
a
out of the
cute
park.
costume. I was the Blues Brothers one year with my best friend.
I love that.
The funny thing is I had no idea what I was agreeing to. I was happy to have the stress taken off of me. But my friend called me when I was carving pumpkins, and she was like, "Do you want to be the Blues Brothers?" I was like, in my mind, I thought I was going to be blue. I'm dead ass because I didn't
You
know.
were thinking Blue Man Group.
I thought I was going to be in the Blue Man Group. Why didn't I get any instruments? No, I'm just kidding. Why didn't I get to throw paint on anybody?
You're dressed as a blues brother. You're just like throwing paint at people.
My friend and I show up in different costumes, and we're like, there was a miscommunication.
She still brings you the hat and the sunglasses.
I don't know why we didn't coordinate before this.
That's hysterical.
Because
that
this-
is a costume I want to see now.
That would be so funny. I actually wish that did happen. The real story is I was just very agreeable, and I found out later on who they were, but the photos were fucking sick. Lizzie and I,
Oh, hell yeah.
we literally, the drip was real in the 5th grade. Nobody knew who we were, but I was like, I don't either.
I just remembered what I was in 5th grade.
What were you?
A Hershey's Kiss.
Your costumes are so fucking cute.
I was just this big silver blob.
You know what? I'm really actually happy to see you turn it around from your older Halloween memories of like burning people.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
But no, sure. But like, I'm just glad to see that you got on
There was
like,
some wholesome
like you
stuff,
got
too.
on a good path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually a really big tomboy as a kid. So I was a cop and Zorro.
I was almost always a witch.
Love that.
Always.
It's such a good
I knew who I
staple.
was. I knew who I
Yeah.
was.
Kaylee was a witch pretty frequently.
I was at, but here's the thing. This is also the thing. I was either a witch or a princess for a really long time. So deal with that.
Everyone has more than one side to them.
Thank you. Thank
You were just well-rounded.
I was.
You
I
knew
was
who
a
you
witch.
were.
I was a princess, and I was a blues brother.
Oh, my mom, one of the best costumes she's ever made that like she could sell, honestly, if it was still topical, but Mary Kate, when she was really little, that was when the Teletubbies were a big thing, and my mom made a Lala costume.
I don't actually think I like this because
That was the yellow one. I have to find a picture though because it's the cutest.
Is it
fucking thing in the
cute? Because I
world.
picture it being a little scary.
No, I mean,
I
it
find
was
the
just,
Teletubbies a little scary. I'm
It
sorry.
was just like a hood. It's not like we had like a whole Teletubby face. That would have been fucking creepy. But like Mary Kate was Lala. She's so fucking cute. But yeah, no, my mom killed it. She was
Yeah.
so good.
Shout out to
where I
Mom.
Learned how to sew.
Shout out to the moms who made their kids' costumes.
Yeah.
We love that. Shout out to Halloween just in general. And I love that we were able to start this off very happy and wholesome, because I feel like we're about to get a little bit dark here, because what I really want us to talk about are our own spooky stories. I've had like a variety throughout the entirety of my life. However, I think there's just a select few that really stick out, just because I think there are truly times where like things could have really gone wrong for me, and it's just one of those instances where you narrowly like escape something. And Bri and I listen to other podcasts kind of like along the lines of Let's Not Meet. Mm-hmm. Shout out to you, Andrew, where people will just talk about their encounters with other individuals and how they just narrowly escape what could have gone very wrong. And they always end it with Let's Not Meet, because, you know, we don't really want to find out what was going to happen here. But the first one that comes to mind for me is I was in Aldi once and I was grocery shopping, and I will sometimes grocery shop with my earbuds in just because I like to listen to music when I'm doing it, because I go alone most of the time. And when I was going through the aisles, I kept feeling this man stare at me every time we encountered each other and make eye contact, which it's not a huge Aldi, so it wasn't the most concerning thing. And truth be told, I mean, like, people stare all the time, so I wasn't necessarily concerned, but I'm always aware of that kind of thing. And I noticed that we kept bumping into each other more and more, and I didn't really like that. So I avoided him for the rest of the trip, and then I ran into him again towards checkout. And I was cutting, like, you know how all these lines can get really long, so like almost into the aisle, so you have to cut through a little bit. So that's what happened. And he actually tried like beckoning me that time. And I was like, oh, fuck that, don't talk to me. So I actually stopped listening to my music, but still made it seem like I was, just because I wanted to be able to hear. Oh God, I like still get freaked out when I think about it, because I'm just like, he was really just had his, he honed in on me. But I go through the checkout line because I'm a little bit behind him now, but he's done, and he's like waiting at the end of the checkout counter, like lingering. And finally he walks away, and I think that's about it, you know, like he's gonna finally start putting his stuff away. So I go to start putting my own groceries away, and I see him walking up to me. And he starts talking to me, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you. And what comes out of his mouth is he goes, can I steal you for a second? You're just like so pretty, like I want to steal you. And immediately I'm like, fuck you, fuck no, like who the fuck says that? I'm like, you don't say that to people. And he's like asking me to like come, like, you know, with him. And I'm basically like, no, you need to get away from me, like right now. That's so crazy. And so he leaves the store, and I take my time putting my stuff away because I don't want to like have any more chance encounters with him. And the second I leave the Aldi store, I immediately get this feeling that I'm still being watched, that he's somewhere near me. So I am obviously being extremely vigilant still, and I go to put my cart away, and I start to hear a car driving behind me as I'm walking to mine, but it's not going fast, it's going slow. So it's following me, and what do you know? It's him pulling right up next to me, windows down, like trying to talk to me again. And then I just kind of lose my shit, because I'm like, you know, what did I have to, like, I was really fortunate in the sense that, like, it was still light out, and there were quite a few people in the Aldi parking lot still, so I was ready to make a scene and let it be known that I'm, like, literally being fucked with by this guy. So I started, like, screaming louder, and I was like, what do you want? Like, get the fuck out of here, like, that kind of thing. And then he finally drives off, and I had, like, other shit to do in that area, but I couldn't even do it. I just drove straight home because I was so petrified that he was going to follow me still. And I'm pretty sure he would have if I didn't leave that area.
I remember you coming home that day.
Yeah.
That was, and I remember you like so upset for multiple reasons, partially because you were like, I didn't even get everything I wanted to fucking do done because I was so freaked out because this stupid guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the instances in my life where I think a lot of times I have such, like, I joke around a lot. I feel like I am Joe Pesci, where I'm like, Everyone's like, that's so degrading. But I'm like, I mean, just watch a Joe Pesci movie and then meet me. And I think it'll make sense. I think a lot of pieces will fit together. I'm not trying to be mean up to myself. I'm just calling it. But anyway, and then but then I have to realize that I'm a very also small woman. So I'm a lot of people's first target or thought sometimes. I can be really mistaken for somebody that would be easy.
Yeah.
Just because of my size alone.
Yeah.
Like
Unfortunately, it makes you a target.
It does. And
which is why I'm glad to hear you say like you weren't afraid to make a scene. To anybody that doesn't listen to these podcasts as regularly as we do, don't be afraid of that.
Yeah, you really
Make
shouldn't.
a fucking scene.
You do. And you know what? Ugh. But it's just disappointing to think that like some people in those situations are so afraid of making a scene that they're still willing to like put their life at risk.
Yeah.
And that's just really scary. Cause yeah, that time with Aldi, I was like, no, fuck this. Like,
yeah.
does
Which
nobody
is smart that you know, I think it's probably better that you did go straight home, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Cause like I don't want to play the game of chance too. Like he might have just gone straight home after that. Who's to say? But like obviously, if he followed me out of Aldi, he was willing to follow me somewhere else. Like what was stopping him?
Right.
And why would I
have anything else? To
right.
do that
And
day.
why would I take those odds?
Right.
It was just so crazy. I've never had anything like that happen to me before, and it really just put it into perspective to me. Again, how some people might view me, and that's the part that freaks me out a lot too.
Yeah.
Is I don't consider myself vulnerable, and it's just crazy to me that other people do.
Yeah.
And like that worries. I don't know. It's just a very odd, like, end of the spectrum to be on when you're like targeted, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I didn't think I was like a target.
Right.
And then it happens, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it just like kind of freaks you out a lot after that too.
Yeah.
And it makes you just that more weary.
Yeah. Which a healthy dose of paranoia is a good thing, but it sucks. Like that's literally what we have to think about all the time, especially living in the city.
It does.
Oh my God, I just thought of another one. Just another story of being a woman in a city.
Sucks.
It was actually pretty late for like a work night. I had just finished work and it was an awful fucking day. Everything that could have went wrong did. And one of those things that went wrong is I ended up getting a flat tire while I was in work.
I'm so sorry, but shout out to Bri for even knowing how to change a flat tire. Bad bitch that she is.
you.
I digress. Go
and
on.
thank you, Dad. So just the cherry on top of a shit day, I'm leaving work and could tell it was low. At the very end of the block, there was a gas station. So I was like, I might be able to make it. And as soon as I started driving, I was like, there's no way. So I turn off. It's very dark. It was probably close to like 11-ish. And I turn off on the like only lit street in that area. For some reason, a lot of the lights were out. And it's more residential. It was right next to a school. And I felt like that was probably a better way. Because as a woman, you have to think through all these things. So I parked right under a streetlight. And I knew I was by a school. It felt a little bit safer, but obviously it's night, so it doesn't 100% matter. But before I can do anything, I call Abby. Luckily, she was still awake, and I asked her to come meet me. I dropped a pin, and I was like, can you come meet me and just keep watch? I need to change my tire. So she's on her way. She's already on her way. And I knew that I had a classic Bri, had so much shit in the back of my car. So I just wanted to clear stuff out of the way. I didn't originally plan on starting to change my tire. But as I was clearing things out, I was like, she's probably almost here. So for some reason, I started getting everything out to change the tire. And I knew that lifting up my car was going to take a while. So I don't know why. I was going against all my instincts. Trust your gut. So I started jacking the car up, and this guy comes along, and he's He's real skinny. He's in kind of like a weird, it was almost like a tracksuit.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was maybe shiny.
Yeah, I remember it being like grayish.
But it ended up being super dirty.
Oh.
Like the different like textures we were seeing it was really dirty. But he comes along and I see him out of the corner of my eye, and he just kind of starts looking at the car in front of my car, the one that's parked there, and he's like kicking the tires and looking around and kind of glancing at me every now and then, and I'm keeping an eye on him. At this point, I knew that I had my keys on top of, like, not the hood of my car, but like the windshield, so I quickly grabbed them because I have mace on them, and I grabbed my tire iron because I wanted all of my weapons close to me. And he finally comes over and starts kind of talking to me. Gets not too close at first, but he was really jittery and kind of antsy and just kind of walking side to side and asking me questions, asking very obvious questions, like if I was changing my tire. And I said, yep. He said, do you need help? I said, I got it. Thanks, though. And he still didn't leave. And he stays around and is just kind of asking questions. And I'm just, at this point, I've stopped. And I'm just keeping him in my sight. And I have my hand literally on the tire iron. And I was like, well, I'm fine. My friend's coming, actually, to help me. I don't need any help. Thanks, though. And no sooner do I hear, Bri! And speed walking down the street like my mom, like I'm in trouble, is Abby.
All 4'11" of me.
Coming to the rescue. And he sees her, and I was like, oh, hey. And he was like, oh, your friend's here. So he just kind of walks again towards the car that's parked in front of mine. And Abby, like a fucking gargoyle, is just like evil eye staring this guy down. I was like, I need to turn my back to him so that I can finish this. Can you just watch him? And you were like, I fucking got it covered. And I'm changing it. Fastest time I think I've ever taken to change a tire. It was like a personal record. And he eventually left before I was done. But Abby stared him down the whole fucking time. And I think it was when we got home, because you were smart. We were like, I'll meet you at home. See you there. It was only like 5 minutes away from home. We weren't far. And when we're both home in the apartment, she tells me, she's like, I didn't want to say it then, because I didn't want to freak you out. But before he left, he grabbed something from his passenger seat and put it in the back seat. And I swear to God, maybe it's just the let's not meet brain, but I swear to God, it looked like a crowbar.
I remember that. I was just about to say, and I remember I saw something like in his car, right?
Yeah.
Because when Bri was changing her tire too, like the fucked up thing is that even when I showed up, he still didn't leave. Like
Yeah.
I truly, honest to God, think that he was
sizing us up.
Yeah, I think he was assessing the situation and like if you and I were worth the fight. Which, like, that does nothing for my ego because I'm over here like, fuck yeah, you don't want to fuck with me. And then you hear the next story about how I basically stood up against a fence and, like, cowered in fear. Just kidding. But no, like, I was watching him the whole time. And I think what really did freak me out is the fact that he didn't leave immediately, which, again, after connecting the dots more, after, like, what I had seen too, I truly think that he was sizing us up and seeing if it was going to be worth the fight. And because he just opened his passenger door when Bri was sitting down to actually change the tire and just like sitting there as if he were contemplating. And I was like, maybe this dude's just I was like, maybe this dude is just super fucked up. Who knows?
Well,
but
I'm talking about him now, he was definitely on drugs.
Yeah.
He was just gonna try and jump us.
It's crazy. And that's the shit that pisses me off too. And it was like full mother, because I'm like, mess with me one thing, but like mess with my friends or my like loved ones, it's another thing. Like I'll see red because like it's just like that. I don't even know what it is, you know. It's just like that instinct that kicks in. But it is really crazy because I remember seeing him put something in his back seat and it's all rushing back to me.
Yeah.
And I truly think had I not shown up, he may have tried to attack you.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm not even trying to
guarantee
like
it.
freak you out again. There's like not a shadow of doubt when we retell this story and look back on it now that he might have attempted. So it's just it's too coincidental for me too, because I remember us trying to be like, oh, are we just like, because I was trying to rationalize it like a motherfucker, because I was like, I don't want to be that person that's like, but I'm like, when you think and you look back on it, it's like, why were you still there?
Right.
What were you lingering around for?
Yeah.
Why did you wait to finally leave until we left?
He was like, the way he was just like, obviously the wheels were turning in his head, because before you did show up, just the way that he was like quote unquote testing out the car, just the shit that he was like fucking around with his own car.
He's like, this is a car with a mirror.
He was like pushing on the like trunk, like bouncing the tires, and then just like kicking them and like looking around. Because I remember thinking at first, I was like, is this even his car? I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And then luckily you showed up. So if you learn anything from my stupid story, is I started out doing things right. I was following the right path at first, but because I was so exhausted and just done with the day, I veered off into stupid territory, and I should have just continued to trust my gut and follow the rules, unfortunately, that we have to follow.
There's rules for a reason.
Yeah, and I should have just waited for Abby, because then it would have been fine. I would have been in my car, and maybe we wouldn't even have had to encounter him at all.
Possibly.
Maybe.
But maybe he needed for me to instill a little fear in him. A healthy fear of Abby is always good. I like that. That's how I like to keep most relationships.
Spook him a little bit.
Yeah. I like a little bit of fear.
But also thank you. Thanks for being there.
Oh my God.
Thanks for literally watching my back.
Literally. I've got it. I'm a Virgo. If anybody's ever shit on a Virgo, let the lesson be learned. We're extremely loyal. We will fight grown men.
I feel like the more I got into it, then I would think back, and I was always like, I was a chicken, and I didn't watch actual like slasher films, but growing up in the 90s, and I know you've heard me say this before, there was so much stuff. Like there was kid stuff, but still a lot of the kid stuff was centered around horror. Like Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Me and Kaylee loved Are You Afraid of the Dark.
Like I just had such a prime time Halloween childhood. Oh my God, the Boy Meets World episode still holds up. I still think it's scary.
So
I think
good.
It's scary.
It's also still so funny.
It's so, oh my God, it's hilarious.
It's like peak Eric humor.
It was just, I don't even know really how it even started, but
Halloween's great as a kid.
Here's the thing. I don't know, but it just became such a me time thing, because I distinctly remember after an AYSO game when I was a kid, I was like, ooh, can't do anything because Disney Channel's playing all their Halloween episodes. So I'm talking like Proud Family, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Like I just remember I was chilling in our love seat.
Oh, and then like the 13 Nights of Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Even Stevens.
Yeah.
Like I just lived my best fucking life during Halloween.
It was.
And I think that's just where it all, like, my favorite movies. I mean, I've been a spooky since I feel like, who knows?
Yeah, even when I was a chicken, like I still don't like haunted houses and shit like that. I am easily spookable.
Me too.
But for some reason, every time I think about Halloween, my most vivid memory, and the one that my brain always goes back to first, is walking home from school and the leaves had changed. Yeah. There's just that like fall smell in the air. Halloween decorations were finally out, and it was just the color and the temperature, and it was so exciting because I knew that Halloween was coming up, even dinners leading up to it.
Yeah.
They weren't really that different, but it was just, everything was like warmer when I got home, and just, I don't know. It's just it's like a feeling that I think I'm forever chasing, but like I don't want to get tattooed.
She said. Therapist, when's the last time you felt alive?
Well, I was in 5th grade.
October 31st, 1999. No, I loved getting to see people's Halloween costumes.
Yes.
And then, oh my God, one Halloween I did go trick-or-treating with my crush too.
Ooh,
Bitch.
Wow.
Don't even tell me. Oh my God. And I did we like linked arms too.
Oh my God. Did you use protection?
I was pregnant after. No,
Were you a couple's costume?
I fucking wish.
Ugh,
oh my
okay.
God. I fucking wish.
What was he?
No, our families were just friends.
Okay.
And so like we went trick-or-treating with their family and I was like,
But you were like, I'm on a date.
I was like, I'm obviously on a date right now. Like we're 2 houses ahead of them. And he gave me the cigarettes.
No parent supervision.
And he gave me cigarettes, my
Whoa.
cigarette candy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you could say it was pretty serious. But then I threw up on somebody's desk and he saw, and I think it was just not for him after.
Well, you know what? You deserve better.
I do. You guys, this episode is just going to be Bri and I's memories. So,
Yeah. But hopefully it's bringing stuff back for you guys too.
Hopefully, come on. Like, we definitely have to know what your favorite parts about Halloween were too. Yeah. Or like, I mean, hopefully you do love the holidays as much as we do and it doesn't just like freak you out. I think this one was just strictly proximity issues here that really fucked with me because it was so close to home. Like, it was literally my backyard. I was 2 feet from being in my backyard, and just to think of like how south it could have gone, I think really freaks me out because I'm like, oh, my home is supposed to be my safe place, and knowing, because it just happened recently, everybody. That's the fucked up thing. It's like maybe like 3 weeks ago, Bri and I had actually just finished recording the podcast, and if you know anything about me, I had just gotten a cleaning craze in me. And once I start, I can't stop. That's the thing. And part of it was taking out the trash because I was cleaning the kitchen. And it was nighttime. Am I stupid or what? I'm a woman in the city at night.
Going into an alley.
Going into an alley because that's where our garbage and recycling is at, past our gate. So you have to open up the gate to get into the alley, and immediately when I get out there, I get a shit feeling in my stomach. I'm like, ooh, I don't like this one bit. And right at the entrance of the alley is a car with its lights turned off, and it's like set up like a scary movie too, because it's right under like a garage too with just the light going. So I see the car obviously, and I'm like, that's weird, like don't love that. And I'm like, but not to worry, it's off, kind of thing. I was trying to ease myself. And then the lights turn on. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's pretty wild, but I still don't want to start freaking out because, I don't know, I should have, basically here. I should have listened to myself. I was like, I should have just immediately closed the gate, went back in. But here's the thing. I'm a proud bitch. And I start opening the recycling bin and I start pouring stuff in there, and I notice the car is now coming towards me and it stops. So to set up what the situation looks like, it's like the alley with the car in it, and then me in the middle, and then there's a gate with our trash bins set up against it. So it's the gate, trash bins, me, car. I'm boxed in between that. And he rolls down the window and he starts asking me all these really invasive questions, talking, well, first off, how they all start. You're so pretty. Are you single? Where's your boyfriend? Are you married? Is he in the house? Is he here with you? Like, can I help you? Because he sees me taking out the trash and everything. And I look in the back seat, and that window is rolled down just a little bit, the passenger window in the back. And I see a woman just staring at me back there too, but she looks young, Bri. That's the fucked up part. But like, she just wasn't saying anything, just staring at me the whole time while this man is harassing me. And he doesn't let up. He's just like, I think he even asked me where my wedding ring was too. It was all such a blur, and I just like kept being like, yeah, no, blah blah blah, like trying to just get out of the situation as quickly as possible. And then I finally am able to get back into the yard. And I'm like, just how wonderful that he now knows where I live. Because he watches me walk into there, and then he finally drives off. And it might not come off as the like most scary situation, I feel like, listening to it, but being in that moment, just being like cornered, and I didn't have really anywhere to go. I mean, I could have just gone straight back into the house, but the thing to note is our gate is so slow to close that he would have been able to get in. Yeah. Like, I'm sometimes halfway up our stairs again by the time that gate closes, just to give you a reference with how slow it is. It's not fast because it's an automatic gate. So yeah, I was just, my fight or flight did not kick in there. And I think it's one of those moments that kind of feels like divine intervention in a way, because I feel like that situation should have gone south, because I did not get a good vibe here. Like, I fully thought I was going to get taken. Yeah. I did. And I'm not one to just even throw that out, too. Just because, again, like I described myself, I'm like a Joe Pesci to my core. Like, I'm going to bark until I can. That kind of thing. But I just shut down.
And that's the thing, too, and why I keep saying trust your gut. Because I think it was instincts kicking in. And your body is going to scream at you to do what it thinks is best. And sometimes, as much as it's like, don't be afraid to make a scene, I think internally you're really judging the person. And we also know all too well how to read a person, and if that person is going to get more dangerous if you do create a scene and if you do fight back. So sometimes it is kind of waiting things out and going the safer route of, I'm just going to play along for a little bit until I have my moment. Yeah. And I feel like instincts always kick in with that stuff too. And it is fight or flight, flight or freeze.
Yeah.
And sometimes freezing is it's
always
scary, but sometimes it's a little bit better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if you're right there, because there wasn't really anybody around anyway.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, is I didn't really know how to make a scene here because there was nobody in the alley. It was just like, I mean, I guess you always can make a scene, but...
Well, and it's you in a car.
Yeah, like, and then I run the risk of, like, me making a scene, somebody trying to shut me up and just grabbing me.
Yeah.
Like that. I was like, you definitely run that risk too. And who's...
Because as close as we are to we live next to a store that is open 24 hours.
Yeah.
But as close as we are to that, that's still an entire parking lot you have to make it across before you could get in there.
Yeah.
To be by people.
Exactly.
Like,
and I mean, who's to say if, I'm correct in my train of thought that I could have potentially been taken. I don't really see what other reason you would do that to somebody, especially with a woman in the car. Like, you obviously already have somebody. I don't even know the age of that person, but regardless, like,
I don't doubt it. I think you're 100% right. There's nothing good that comes from doubting that or from giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, because I do trust your read on people and anybody's read on people in uncomfortable situations like that or scary situations like that. The
part that like really is the eeriest to me is them just like asking if somebody was waiting for me inside. Mm-hmm. That's the part that I hate the most, and that like makes me the most scared. Is like because it's one. I mean, like women get catcalled all the time when they're out and about, whatever, those kind of things, and like it's happened to me. It's unfortunate that I'm used to it, but like because it's part of the territory at times. Like it's not. That's bullshit. Not what I'm saying. As I'm saying, like it's bullshit, but like I've learned to like blah, like that kind of thing. Ignore it. So I didn't necessarily. I was like, just another fucking guy that has to fuck off is just how I was viewing it until he started asking those more invasive questions that I was like, am I actually in danger right now?
Right. There's no reason for those questions to be asked.
Yeah. No reason. And then just seeing that person in the back seat too and just not knowing and them just staring. Like I'm telling you, like the window was just like cracked to where you just saw eyes.
That's so
creepy. I hated it. hated it. And obviously, I mean, again, also, if you learn anything from this story too, don't go out at night alone to take your trash out, even if you're on a cleaning spree.
Just can wait for tomorrow.
Just wait until the morning. Okay. It's not that serious.
There's no reason to be in an alley alone.
It's not fair, because that's all I was doing. Like, I was just trying to take my trash out.
Yeah, it's really fucking annoying.
It's actually so fucked up that I can't even take my trash out at night without the mirror.
Yeah, no, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I hate it.
It's so frustrating. More scary stuff about being a vulnerable girl.
We didn't mean to have a theme here. It really just kind of turned out that,
I mean, that's what a lot of the stories are on the podcasts that we listen to too, because the true horror stories is most frequently just fucking everyday shit that girls have to go through.
Just existing.
Yeah. Not to say that there aren't stories from guys too, but the vast majority, about 80% of it at least, is this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Because it's scary. And we have to deal with it every day, even when we're younger. So this is always the first thing that comes to mind when I think about scary stories, because it was one of the realest, like, stranger danger situations that I ever encountered, and that just sticks out in my head. I must have been in middle school, I think, at the time, and it was definitely late fall because it was getting colder. It was a very cold morning, and it was later in the year, so it was pitch black out when I'm waiting at my bus stop. And this bus stop, usually it was at a person's house, almost always, or at a corner near somebody's house. But this one, I guess, was near a house, but it was on a corner. So very early morning, pitch black out. Again, I'm just under a single street light.
You and your fucking lights.
Standing in the street light so that I'm visible, waiting for my bus. And nobody else was at the bus stop that morning for some reason. And I was just listening to my iPod. And I just like have my hands in my pocket, just kind of looking around. And it was kind of that later fall, so past Halloween, but still kind of loving that it was fall and just kind of looking around. But it did feel different. There was something just about that morning, probably because nobody was at the bus stop. And I felt like my bus was taking a longer time. And it was so quiet, which was why it was so jarring when out of nowhere, this car just comes whizzing by me. And I was down the block from the cul-de-sac that I lived on. And they whiz by. I hear a screech of tires. And they like quick turn in the cul-de-sac and slowly make their way back towards me. And I thought it was just somebody turning around at first until they had slowed down when they started coming back in my direction. And then I hear them stop and park the car. And they were about like in the front yard of the house next to where I was waiting. And I couldn't really see because, of course, they weren't under a streetlight. It was so dark that morning, and I couldn't see the car. I could kind of make it out when it passed by. It was either like black or like a dark blue. And I hear the doors open. I hear one open. I hear the second open. And then I hear them both close at the same time. And then I start hearing footsteps in the grass, and they're coming towards me. And talk about divine intervention.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. My bus finally comes up and opens the door. And I don't think I touched a single stair on the way up.
She flew today.
I like Mario jumped onto that bus just as I feel like I was starting to see the shoe of somebody that was literally coming out of the dark.
I don't like this.
And I like sweating up the bus, and she was like, "Sorry, I'm late." And I was like,
yeah, stick to your schedule, Diane. It's there for a reason.
And she was like, "Go sit down." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" was like, I just almost got kidnapped.
Yeah. How about you show up on time?
And I went and sat down. I was like shaking. And I was looking out the window and I still couldn't see anybody. Because then I know when I sat down, I heard car doors again. And then I heard like a car start, but we left before I could see the car. So I didn't even have any information to give anybody. I didn't have a color of the car, even a type of car. I couldn't really tell. I don't remember at this point if it was like I think it was maybe it was a pickup truck, I think. And I didn't have any license plate, like had zero information, can't even tell you what one of the people looked like. But my heart was racing the whole way to school. Like it took the entire bus ride to calm down. I was so scared.
That is terrifying.
And I told my mom when I came home, and she was like, why didn't you tell anybody at school? I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh my God. I forgot how scary that story was, because I know that I've heard it before, but it's been a really, really long time. Yeah. But like just the whole coming up behind you thing and just like being on your heels almost.
Yeah.
That's the part that like makes me actually want to throw up.
Just in the nick of time that the bus pulled up. And I'm almost surprised that they didn't, that like he was even taking another step. I say he because I just assume like while the bus was like rolling up. And I was just like, yeah, it was just, I didn't look behind me. I just ran to the bus, just a few steps to the bus once she opened the door, and just like as soon as I could get sat down, just like trying to look through the window, trying to see anything.
Yeah. And just the fact that she had no patience for you.
Typical bus driver.
No, typical bus driver.
Just
like
yelling at you to sit
way
down.
To be on brand.
You didn't pick up on a single fucking thing that just happened, did you?
So on brand for a bus driver. She's like, yeah, what about it?
Come on,
she goes,
Donna.
I almost get kidnapped every day. She's like, I wish somebody'd kidnap me. I'd get a vacation. No, she's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm happy we made it out of these, Bri. Holy
Me
fuck.
too.
I feel like I wasn't breathing for like the last 45 minutes. I will say, I do feel like I sufficiently scared myself with these. Having to relive all of these, I didn't realize, or maybe we're just really good at telling stories. I don't know. You guys can let us know too. But I mean, God, I didn't realize how actually scary these were. When we said, oh yeah, we'll just do stories, these instantly came to mind. And I'm just like, yeah, they won't be that bad. But like retelling them, I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Clearly I'm pretty good at like just blocking them out, because it took me a second to remember these.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I know I have the one, while we were sitting down, and then just as you were telling your story, like it happened live. You heard me remember the changing my tire.
It's tough. I forgot about the tire one, and I completely forgot about seeing him put something in his backseat, and I hate that.
So
and we're gonna have to take a quick break, everybody, because I'm gonna have to go throw up now, because these sufficiently scared me.
Before we go though, if you do have any stories like that, or anything, scary just in general that happened to you, now you kind of know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be exactly that, but just literally anything you have, any of your scary memories, relive them for us and write us.
Please.
Send those into us.
Let us know about your trauma.
At gmail.com.
Thank you.
Let's go get some snacks. Welcome back, roomies.
You guys feeling good? But we hope you're comfier now.
Yeah. We wanted to end the episode in classic sleepover style.
Yes.
One of my favorite things from sleepovers growing up was hearing stories from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah. Oh my God. They definitely traumatized us too.
Oh my God.
They were very traumatizing. We actually should not have been allowed near those. Those were not for children.
No. Well, there's a fun documentary about how like this is like one of the most banned books in schools and stuff. Is
really?
Like, oh, there was so much fight against these books. Yeah. I mean,
but they are just a crucial part of my childhood at the same time.
Yeah.
They did traumatize me. I'm still to this day, every time I think of a scarecrow, I immediately think of Harold.
Yeah.
It's just instantaneous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've had that kind of impact on me well into my adulthood.
Yeah, that one scared me for a very long time.
Still does. No, still does. Like, I think about bits and pieces of that story, and I'm like, holy fuck, that was not for children.
I was so mad at my friend that read that story at her sleepover.
I mean, some of those were also just downright fucking silly, and they're
so silly. Me. Yeah. But even the silly ones, really, I think the kicker is always going to be the illustrations.
Yes.
Because some of them are kind of silly, and some of them are just like, if you're just hearing the story. But the illustrations with it are what's truly haunting.
They literally...
Those are burned in my brain. We have a blanket that looks like the book of Scary Stories.
Yeah. We're talking about how this traumatized us, and then Bri goes out and buys a blanket with Harold on it, right?
Yeah. And that was the kicker. Because I was like, I was getting Abby a birthday gift, and I got her a blanket that looks like the Halloween movie case.
Oh, it's so cool, guys.
And I was like, well, I need to get something for me too. And I was like, oh my God, what movie do I want? And then I saw that they had a book one for Scary Stories, and this one was double-sided. And once I saw that the other side was Harold, I was like, well, that fucking tears it. I was like, I have to get this.
She's like, I'm buying this.
I'm so scared of it, but I'm also like addicted to it in a way.
Yeah, didn't you say something? Did you say you weren't using it for a while because it did scare you? Or am I just making that up?
Yeah, no, I don't like to put the Harold side on me. I don't want him to touch me.
You're just like the farmers, and that's why they got killed.
I'd rather have the creepy head from the cover on
with
me.
The smoke in the pot. I love that. That
I know.
head
I have a pin of that
has
too.
so much drip for no reason. I really like that. I want to get that tattooed on me, actually.
I've seen Scary Stories tattoos.
That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, they're so cool.
So,
but I'd be scared.
Every time. What? Stop, Bri! Why would you do that?
I didn't think I was going to scare you. That's not what I was trying to do.
Oh, you come on. Read the fucking room.
Well, now that we're in a spooky mood.
Oh my God.
Did I get you guys too? I'm so sorry.
Just read the fucking story, please. Great.
And I feel like the intro to the book really sums it up perfectly. This must be why it was such a hit at sleepovers. Pioneers used to entertain themselves by telling scary stories. At night, they might gather in somebody's cabin or around a fire and see who could scare the others the most. Some girls and boys in my town do the same thing today. They get together at somebody's house and they turn out all the lights and eat popcorn and scare one another half to death. Telling scary stories is something people have done for thousands of years. For most of us, like being scared in that way. Since there isn't any danger, we think it's fun. And the best time to tell these stories is at night, in the dark and in the gloom. It is easy for someone listening to imagine all sorts of strange and scary things.
High beams. Do you remember this one at all, Bri?
Mm-hmm. I like this one.
This one I still actively...
I think about it frequently. Yeah, the whole trend with like the Roman Empire, this story.
Is Harold our Roman Empire?
Just the stories from Scary Stories.
How actively do you, once a week.
I think about
how actively do you think about Abby once a week?
Anytime I am alone on a dark road, I think about high beams.
Yeah. With that, let me freak you out. The girl driving the old blue sedan was a senior at the high school. She lived on a farm about 8 miles away and used the car to drive back and forth. She had driven into town that night to see a basketball game. Now she was on her very way home. As she pulled away from the school, she noticed a red pickup truck follow her out of the parking lot. A few minutes later, the truck was still behind her. I guess we're going in the same direction, she thought. She began to watch the truck in her mirror. When she changed her speed, the driver of the truck changed his speed. When she passed a car, so did he. Then he turned on his high beams. flooding her car with light. He left them on for almost a minute. He probably wants to pass me, she thought, but she was becoming uneasy. Usually she drove home over a back road. Not too many people went that way, but when she turned onto that road, so did the truck. I've got to get away from him, she thought, and she began to drive faster. Then he turned his high beams on again. After a minute, he turned them off. Then he turned them on again and off again. She drove even faster, but the truck driver stayed right behind her. Then he turned his high beams on again. Once more, her car was ablaze with light. What is he doing, she wondered. What does he want? Then he turned them off again, but a minute later he had them on again, and he left them on. At last, she pulled into her driveway, and the truck pulled in right behind her. She jumped from her car and ran to the house. "Call the police," she screamed at her father. Out in the driveway, she could see the driver of the truck. He had a gun in his hand. When the police arrived, they started to arrest him, but he pointed to the girl's car. "You don't want me," he said. "You want him." Crouched behind the driver's seat, there was a man with a knife. As the driver of the truck explained it, the man slipped into the girl's car just before she left the school. He saw it happen, but there was no way he could stop it. He thought about getting the police, but he was afraid to leave her, so he followed her car. Each time the man in the back seat reached up to overpower her, the driver of the truck turned on his high beams. Then the man dropped down, afraid that someone might see him.
That is also the reason why I check my back seat all the time.
Oh my God. Every time I leave the gym.
Because this one is such a, this one is classic. It is, lore that is told so many different ways. And I know, shows would, recreate this. And I feel like it was even on
It was in a movie.
Believe It or Not. Oh my God, what was that show?
Look, I don't like to give him credit either, but one of my favorite spooky movies, it's kind of trash, it's kind of not. I guess it would really depend on who you ask. It's one of my guilty pleasures. It's Urban Legend. It's got Jared Leto in it, and he does thrive in that film. That's the only time you'll hear me say something like that.
Yeah.
He's grandfathered into that film. It's before I knew about him. I just don't want anybody thinking I like Jared Leto, okay? I just want to get that out there.
But it's definitely that is one I feel like every girl knows that story.
And the fucking gasp when you first have read that too.
Yeah.
Just to find, because there's also another high beam story. So the other one goes that it's a gang initiation, but it's kind of reverse. So it really isn't this one, but there is another urban legend that takes the high beams where the cars will drive without their lights on, and whichever car flashes them, the signal to, hey, turn your lights on, they then pull a Yui and drive behind them, flashing their high beams to make them get crash their car, get off the road, pull over. Either way, that person needs to die, and it's a gang initiation. So I just don't fuck with it for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
And I will always check my back seat because of this story. Mm-hmm. It traumatized me before I even knew how to drive.
I know.
I was like, oh shit, people are just chilling in my back seat. And shout out to Homeboy for really just not minding his own business.
I know. Yeah. It's good that there is good Samaritans like that.
Yeah.
I feel like this one falls in line with just another story that's told a million different ways. The guests. A young man and his wife were on a trip to visit his mother. Usually they arrived in time for supper, but they had gotten a late start and now it was getting dark. So they decided to look for a place to stay overnight and go on in the morning. Just off the road, they saw a small house in the woods. "Maybe they rent rooms," the wife said. So they stopped to ask. An elderly man and woman came to the door. They didn't rent rooms, they said, but they would be glad to have them stay overnight as their guests. They had plenty of room, and they would enjoy the company. The old woman made coffee and brought out some cake, and the four of them talked for a while. Then the young couple were taken to their room. They again explained that they wanted to pay for this, but the old man said he would not accept any money. The young couple got up early the next morning before their hosts had awakened. On a table near the front door, they left an envelope with some money in it for the room. Then they went on to the next town. They stopped in a restaurant and had breakfast. When they told the owner where they had stayed, he was shocked. "That can't be," he said. "That house burned down to the ground, and the man and woman who lived there died in the fire." The young couple could not believe it, so they went back to the house. Only now, there was no house. All they found was a burned-out shell. They stood staring at the ruins, trying to understand what had happened. Then the woman screamed. In the rubble was a badly burned table, like the one they had seen by the front door. On the table was the envelope they had left that morning.
Ew.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my God. I don't think I've actually ever heard that one.
Really?
And that's fucking wild.
That's always so creepy. It's always, for some reason, put in any story a part where you're in like some little town diner.
I love it.
And like
The
they
ambiance.
have more information than you do. I'm always like, ugh.
I know. I'm like, what aren't you telling me?
Like there was one story, I think it was maybe on one of our podcasts, that was about somebody who was driving really late at night and they took a wrong turn, a wrong exit, and they were trying to find their bearings. So they were like, okay, well, I'm here, so let me at least stop in here. I'll get something to eat and we'll find our way. So they walk in and every single person in the diner is staring at them. And it was like a very just off a beaten path. And the whole time they were in there, they were just staring. And it wasn't surprised. It was more unwelcoming. And nobody broke eye contact with this person. And the person at the front of the diner told them to get out.
Really?
They said, "You're not supposed to be here." And that was all it took for the person to just turn around and leave. And then they couldn't figure out what was going on. And they passed that stretch of the road again, and that exit wasn't there.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Ew, shut up.
I just hate that kind of stuff where it's like everyone else is in the know but you. And it's, ugh, or it's like, I don't know, different like timelines.
Yeah, it's like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It's the Twilight Zone for sure.
It's so creepy.
Oh my God. I loved that. I loved every second of that. That was so scary though. You're not supposed to be here. Like, where do you think they were? It's so
like that one story of the lady when the guy is waiting for the light to change, that lady comes up and to his window and she's just kind of robotically repeating the same line over and over again. My boyfriend was beating me. I need help. Can you take me to the hospital? And she just says it over and he's like, not, like just kind of rolls down the windows for a second. Said, "I'm sorry, I'm hurt. I need help. My boyfriend beats me. Can you take me to the hospital?" And he said, "Sorry, ma'am, I need to go. Like, I don't have time." And she just keeps repeating herself. And finally the light changes. And just as he's about to start driving away, she said, "You made the right choice."
I know. I hate those two. I hate those two. I remember
just got the chills.
Yeah, me too. It makes. I was like, is my nose gonna bleed? I'm getting so scared.
And I'm like, oh my God, what was gonna happen?
I know.
It was a good thing I didn't help. Well, you made the right choice. And then she just like goes back into the bushes.
I know. And she was probably, I have to think that she was trying to be as deadpan as weird as possible to like,
she was just the bait.
Yeah. To hopefully not lure someone in, you know, let them know something weird was up.
Yeah.
I also, oh my God. And this is one, and I mean, okay, here's always my thought process. They're always like, never stop for anybody or like to help anybody with their car. And I'm like, honey, I'm the last one that should ever help somebody with their car to begin with. I was like, so I'm going to be like, did you try turning the key? That's about as much help as I can give you, babes.
Put it in rice.
Yeah. I'd be like, ooh, it's not starting. Are you going to buy a new one? That's my advice. So I'm like, don't even worry about it. I was never going to help. But yeah, that was never on my radar. Because one time a car was like flagging me down and I was like, you don't want me. I was like, it's not me. I was like,
I'll make things worse.
Literally thumbs down. I was like, I'm the worst. I don't know.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was like, I'm stupid. I was like, I'm just a baby. I don't know. Anyway, that if like that, you know, my lack of knowledge wasn't reason enough for me. It's the stories of the people that, oh God, who are like pulled over on the side of the road and you just drive past them. Or I remember hearing about one where somebody was laying down and the person was just like, fuck that, no, and drove like around it. And then they look in their rearview mirror and the person's now sitting up.
Yes. I just listened to I just got the chills.
Yeah, I know.
I just listened to that one recently again.
Yeah, and then like I guess like other people were like coming from or something like that.
Yeah, people were coming from like the side of the road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, that just solidified it for me too. I was like, absolutely not. I will never help somebody. You could literally be like Jesus Christ reincarnated and I'd be like, no, fuck off.
Especially if I'm alone.
Yeah.
I absolutely am not going to help you.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
No, sorry, baby.
I'll call the cops.
Sorry, baby. Yeah, no.
I'll let them know where you are.
Who it's not going to be is me. I'm not helping.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't help a fucking baby. I wouldn't help a toddler. I wouldn't help a kid. I wouldn't help a teen. Nobody.
Wait, because there's even stories about that.
Yeah.
Like a doll being used as like bait to get somebody out of their car.
No, stop. I'm not trying to hear that. Please be quiet.
And it looked like a really realistic baby.
Stop.
Oh.
Ew. I don't like this one bit. Why did we do this?
Yeah, now we got to go watch some funny stuff so that we can go to sleep.
Now we got to go be happy.
But I hope we spooked you guys a little bit.
Yeah, I literally, gosh, I truth be told, Bri, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get scared, but I'm literally kind of freaked out right now, and I do really need to go, like, I don't know, just go think happy thoughts.
Go get some more food, more junk,
sleep with the lights on.
Really do hope that you guys had fun with this episode because we did.
Yeah.
Let us know if you liked it and if you want more something like this. We could do more sleepovers. We could
absolutely
it, like, a regular-ish thing where, I don't know, every like few months or something.
My mom said that if your mom said it's okay, you can have a sleepover at Bri and I's place.
Pretend like you're sleeping. Shh. They'll just let us have a sleepover.
If I ask, will she say yes? Because if you ask, she's gonna say no. I get it. I've been there.
Is this something you think kids still do?
Oh, most definitely.
Still have to be
oh my God.
Wait, and you're like talking about which parent you're going to ask and who's going to ask first.
Oh my God. Oh God. The presentation. Tell me like when your like anxiety started. It's like how
hard did you have to work for those sleepovers?
Yeah. Oh God. How much did you have to clean your house? Jesus.
I'll go to church in the morning.
Oh, please don't. That's the scary story. I don't want to do this anymore. We did enough tonight. We did too many. Too many scary stories.
And remember, if you guys have some, even if it's like your favorite, just kind of folklore and stuff like that, let us know.
We want anything. We cannot stress enough. We are to our core.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Even though we're all spooked right now, we still want more.
We're
going to take a little break. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be a little bit of time. All of our social media, again, is Rent Free Roommates. And we are everywhere, basically, that you can find a podcast. Spotify, Google Podcast, or Google Play, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're everywhere. And please email us your stories. We are rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Until next time.
I was just about to say until next time. That is so weird. And we're going to get weirder.
Can't wait for next time. We will see you then. Hope we didn't spook you too much.
I'm sleeping in your room tonight. Bye.
Bye.